Hi, it's Panda Movies here. Today I'm going to explain the horror movie called Wishmaster. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Enjoy the video. The narrator explains the divine act as God breathed life into the universe. Light gave birth to angels, the earth gave birth to humans, and fire gave birth to jinn, creatures destined to fill the void between worlds to inhabit. When an individual awakens a spirit when he or she awakens from sleep, he or she is granted the privilege of granting 3 wishes, but it is important to understand that the final, irrevocable third wish is the release of jinns to the earth. In the year 1127, one of these jinn prayed to the Persian Emperor to grant his second wish. When the emperor, fascinated by the longing for wonder and spectacle, expressed his wish, the jinn used their mighty powers to weave an eerie tapestry of fear and disfigurement for the denizens of the realms. Overcome with horror at the consequences of his wish, the emperor was shocked as he was guided by the jinn's persistence in fulfilling his third and final wish, which was to restore balance. But before the emperor could utter his final wish, Zoroaster, a skilled sorcerer, emerged from the shadows and revealed the profound implications of the third wish. It introduced the luminous fire opal, a tool capable of confining the jinn in its fiery depths, successfully quenching its ravages and capturing its essence. In modern America, Raymond Beaumont takes on the role of overseer, dutifully overseeing a group of workers laboriously lowering a sturdy crate bearing the ancient effigy of Ahura Mazda onto a seagoing vessel. Fulfilling his duties leads to a disaster that claims the life of Beaumont's trusted assistant, Ed Finley, when he irreparably destroys a venerable statue. Amidst the chaos, a cheeky docker takes advantage of a well-timed distress call to steal the coveted fire opal from the wreck and immediately trade it for cash. The inescapable gem takes a complex journey to eventually find its way into the possession of Regal Auctioneers, where Nick Merritt's keen eye orders appraiser Alexandra Alex Amberson to examine it, accidentally waking the sleeping jinn from its slumber. Curiously, Alex discovers mysterious mysteries hidden within this dazzling jewel, prompting him to entrust its care to his confidant and respected colleague, Josh Aikman, for further analysis. Unfortunately, the crystal gem, consumed by the quest for knowledge, explodes with catastrophic force, destroying the science lab and granting the jinn their long-awaited release. Disembodied and severely wounded, Josh, in terrible agony, longs for a respite from his physical torment, unwittingly sealing his own fate. While Genie, cleverly interpreting his wish, fulfills his wish by destroying his own existence. Alex, informed of Josh's death by Lieutenant Nathanson, traces the gem to the statue, which she traces back to Beaumont, who sends Alex to Wendy Derleth, a folklore teacher who explains the gem's history and the nature of genius. A genius grants wishes in exchange for souls, but since spirits are demonic in nature, the wishes turn into curses for the spirit's entertainment. Later, Alex learns that the jinn must feed the gem's human souls and grant him 3 wishes before he can open the door and release another jinn onto Earth. Meanwhile, Genie assumes the form of a dead man and uses the name Nathaniel Demarest. He kills the pharmacist with the desires of a vengeful tramp and fulfills the saleswoman Ariella's desire for eternal beauty by making her a model. In search of Alex, she goes to Nathanson to get his information. Nathanson refuses to help him, but Djinn grants Nathanson's wish to easily prove the criminal's guilt and forces him into a shootout at the police station. In the chaos, he finds Alex's home address and leaves. He next visits Nick, killing a security guard along the way by fusing him into stained glass, when the guard says he'd like to see the Djinn go through me. Nick facetiously agrees to help in exchange for $1 million, which he receives when his mother takes out a life insurance policy and is killed the next day in a plane crash. Alex, plagued by disturbing visions whenever the spirit bestows unfortunate blessings on him, once again seeks solace from Derleth. However, to his great horror, he quickly realizes that the being he is talking to is none other than Djinn himself, disguised as the slain Derleth, a victim of his malevolent ability. With frightening audacity, Genie confronts Alex with a devious proposition and offers her the tantalizing prospect of granting 3 wishes. Adhering to his twisted code of integrity, he presents her with a seemingly complementary desire, driven by sheer curiosity to witness the aftermath that will follow. Alex seizes this uncertain opportunity and formulates his wish. He begs the jinn to use his deadly powers against himself. Unfortunately, the jinn, possessing the wild essence of immortality, remains immune to the blow, making his attempt futile. Determined in her quest, she grants the first of her 3 wishes and longs for clarification of the true identity of her tormentor. In no time at all, the jinn wields his supernatural powers, transporting Alex through ethereal dimensions and plunging her into a nightmarish, jewel-filled area, a desolate, hellish dimension that fills her with terror. Genie enjoys his malevolence and likes to taunt and brag about his malevolent nature in front of a trembling Alex. Overwhelmed by her desperation, she gathers all her courage and wishes for the next wish. She desires only to escape so that she can return to the sanctuary of her home, free from the eerie presence of the jinn. An evil jinn threatened Alex's brother, Shannon, prompting Alex to rush to the party Beaumont had previously invited her to. The spirit pursued her relentlessly and once again assumed the elusive form of Nathaniel Demarest. Alex pleaded with bouncer Johnny Valentine, played by Tony Todd, to stop the ghost as the nefarious being attempted to wipe out his existence. However, using his insidious powers of manipulation, Genie's skillfully manipulated Valentine into expressing a desire to break himself out of the monotonous constraints of his daily life by imprisoning him in an elaborate Chinese water torture device and effortlessly invading the holiday. The spirit enchanted Beaumont, awakening in him a longing for an unforgettable encounter, sparking a series of catastrophic events culminating in the deaths of Beaumont, the attendees, and the security personnel who called for help. Ultimately, Genie cornered the sisters and tirelessly tried to scare Alex by forcing her to make her 3rd and final wish, trapping Shannon in a fiery work of art. Alex prayed hard that Torelli had not had any intoxicating beverages while performing his duties at the office exactly 48 hours ago. The jinn was compelled by the nature of its existence to grant this wish, which led to the unraveling of the series of events that followed the destruction of the statue and ultimately trapped the jinn once more inside the burning opal. Torelli lowered the crate without incident as he regained his sobriety. Alex went to see Josh, who had miraculously returned to life despite all odds. He keenly observed a sense of contentment emanating from Alex, though she chose not to elaborate on the reasons behind her elation. Deep within the precious gem adorning the statue of Ahura Mazda, which presently resides within Beaumont's esteemed personal assemblage, the jinn reclined upon a majestic throne, patiently awaiting liberation from its confines.